secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. Don't go back to sleep. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. 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 Don't go back to
Good morning. Every single time I have to do this board rep speech and have to follow up the choir is it's a tough thing to do. But sitting up here and seeing everybody watch, just enamored by how wonderful you guys sing. Thank you very much. So hope everybody's doing well. My name is Nick Clark, and I'm happy to serve on your UUCW Board of Trustees. We offer gratitude for the privilege of living and gathering on traditional territory inhabited at various times by the native peoples of the Seven Councils Fires, Ho-Chunk, Kickapoo, Potawatomi, Menominee, Peoria, and Miami nations. So much of the history of this land has been erased or ignored. Those of us who are settlers and newcomers are beholding to learn that history and engage in the work of reconciliation and reparation. As a welcoming congregation to gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, and queer plus peoples, we continue to address ongoing homophobia, violence, and unfair legislation targeted against them. As an anti-race faith community, we also acknowledge that racism throughout our society continues to lead to the violent deaths and oppression of Jews, Blacks, Indigenous people, and other people of color. May we engage in the struggle to dismantle white supremacy culture in our hearts, in our community, and in the world. This congregation expands beyond these walls to those who are joining us virtually. Hello. Wherever you are right now, whatever your age or color, whatever your gender identity, whatever your chosen beliefs, whoever you love, you are welcome here. Now it's time for the fun housekeeping stuff. So welcome newcomers and guests. If you are so inclined and you enjoy your time here with us, please fill out the blue slip, as I drop it, blue slip with your information. If you'd like to talk face-to-face, please see the representative at the newcomers table. If you don't want to talk to anyone and the first two options are not to your liking, please feel free to find more information at our website, uucw.org, and go to the newcomers area. There's a lot of good information there. If you focus better while keeping busy, please feel free to visit the worship table. I have a typo on my thing, sorry. The worship table, which is being well used. And a few announcements to highlight for this week. Our auction is coming up very soon. It's going to be November 6th through the 9th, and we have over 100 incredible items, events, and services up for grabs. So in your, So in your breakdown, numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8 will give you a lot of great information. Some things to highlight on that is we're going to be using an application, which you can get on your phone, called Octra. It's going to be available both on Apple and Android. And if some of you guys are like, well, how do I work with it? Good news, we have a workshop today to help get you guys set up on the application and become pros on it so that when the time comes up, you'll be ready and able to go. My understanding, I personally haven't been able to download the app yet and look at it. You'll basically be up to date on all the different bidding items and what it's at currently, so you can do a higher bid if it's something that you really want. Besides that, with all that shared and received, let's settle in for this time together.
Good morning. Come in from the crisp morning air outside. Come in wearing the autumn sunlight on your face. Come in carrying the turning of the seasons in your heart. Whatever and however the greatness of life is speaking to you right now, you are welcome here in this circle of friends. I now invite Nick to light our chalice, and I invite you to read our chalice lighting words along with me. They are printed in your order of service. In these times of uncertainty, may we together kindle the flame of justice, fueled by our belonging in community, fed by our steadfast values, and ignited by our abiding love. Now please rise in body and/or spirit, and we'll sing hymn number 1024, When the Spirit Says Do.
Says
That's a good one. Good energy here today. Today, it is our pleasure to welcome and celebrate the people who have made the decision to become members of this congregation. Ann Deal, representing our membership committee, and I will lead you in this joyful welcoming ceremony.
Good morning. The decision to join this church is really an important one because it indicates a desire to make a change in the way we live our lives. It means we're members of a community who live together, dream together, work together, laugh together, and learn together. In community, we welcome babies into the world, and when someone dies, our grief is shared too. At the heart are the relationships we create with one another, relationships dedicated to building our beloved community. Therefore, it's with great joy that we recognize our relationships with these newest members of our church community. So will the two of you please come forward as I read your names, Ann Gernack and Kayla Waldschmidt. Please join us here in the front.
Ann and Kayla, when you join this church, you become part of a liberal religious community that believes in welcoming differences with love. You become part of a community that strives to align our lives with the values of religious freedom and justice. And by bringing your gifts and your presence here, you help keep liberal religion fresh and alive. When you join this congregation, you gain the right to vote on our most critical decisions, a voice in shaping our future, and the authority and opportunity to be a leader among us.
We encourage all of our members to participate regularly in congregational life, to grow their spirits and deepen their understanding of the Unitarian Universalist tradition, to support the church with their gifts and skills and financial resources, and to allow the church to support them as they move through life's journey.
We also expect members to bring their ideas and energy to the table, for each new person brings so much to our shared ministry. Ann and Kayla, just as we hope this community will enrich your lives, we know that the gifts that you bring to this community will enrich us all. We are so glad you are with us. Each of our new members will now sign our membership book as a symbol of their commitment to our community and our covenant. After they do so, Ann will give them a welcome gift.
Weeks to get over that virus.
And now, will all UUCW members present here today please rise in body and or spirit and join in sharing, let me switch places. Oh, sorry. In sharing words of covenant with these new members. First, our new members will speak their words.
We enter this faith with hope and possibility in our hearts, pledging to participate in and support the ministries of the church, with covenant to remain true to the spirit of love that flows through the church and guides us.
And now the members. We welcome you as once we were welcomed ourselves. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent worth and dignity, your ideas and your vision in times both easy and difficult. We will not always live up to our ideals, and when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us more fully bring alive the spirit of love. We welcome you as an equal member of this congregation, of this faith, and of our shared journey. After the service, I encourage you all to make a special point to greet Anne and Kayla. And now please join me in a round of applause for our newest members. Congratulations.
Good morning. My name is Dave Cicero. My pronouns are he and his, and I serve as the Director of Lifespan Religious Education here at UU Church West. I'd like to invite anybody who wants to come a little closer to see the pictures that will be up on the monitor here for our story today to come up. We have some blankets and cushions down on the floor. We're going to hear a lot today about threads. Do y'all know what a thread is? Yeah. And what's it made of? Do you know what it's made of? Sometimes it's made of cotton, sometimes nylon, some other artificial things. But a thread, it's a very small, thin string, right? What's kind of like a thread that kind of does some things that threads do? Go ahead, you call it out, yeah. Some yarn, yeah. So there's yarn is like thread, right? What else? Strings like thread, yep. Any other things that are kind of like thread? Cord. If you get really thick thread, it becomes a rope, right? Put a lot of threads together, they form a strong rope. So there's different types of materials that kind of have similar jobs. What do all these things do? What do strings and threads do? What do we use them for? Hold things together, to sew, which kind of connects one piece of fabric to another, yes. They repair things, okay? But it's all about coming together, bringing things together is what these strings do. So today, you're going to hear a lot about threads, and they'll be mentioned as metaphors or symbols for things that we're connected to, the things that connect us to the things that are what's important in our lives. And I'm reading a story today. It's called The Invisible String. It's kind of a popular book, written by Patrice Karst and illustrated by Joanne Lou Fritoff. Now, the most recent edition, along with others of the series of companion books, are published by Little Brown Books for Young Readers. And this book just talks about string, but we can keep in our mind thread is the same thing and relate it to what's going to happen for the rest of the morning. Okay, The Invisible String. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly, it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried out as they ran to her. "Oh, don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "But we want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "Well, you know, we're always together, no matter what." But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed, said Liza. Well, Mom held something right in front of them and said, this is how. Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string. I don't see a string, said Jeremy. You don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love. But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there? Asked Liza. Well, even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone that you love. When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along that string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts, says Jeremy. Well, does Jasper the cat have an invisible string? Liza asked. He sure does, said Mom. And best friends like me and Lucy? Asked Liza. Best friends too. Well, how far can the string reach? Anywhere and everywhere, said Mom. So I'm going to just interrupt here the story just a little bit to say that you might start thinking now about a thread that stretches out to something or someone that you connect with very closely, especially when you need their love or support. What is it that you remember and think about? Because sometimes it's an idea that gives us hope and courage to carry on during hard times. During our activity in a little while, you'll be asked, what is that? What is that thread that you hold on to? Back to Liza, Jeremy, and Mom. Jeremy asked, would it reach me even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean? Yep, even there. A ballerina in France? Even there. How about to a jungle explorer? Even there. How about an astronaut in space? Yes, even there. And then Jeremy asked quietly, can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven? Yes, even there. Well, does the string go away when you're mad at us? Oh, never, said Mom. Love is stronger than anger. And as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to watch or what game to play in the back seat, or even what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right. You two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. And as they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world is connected by invisible strings. And that is the end. Thank you for listening and also for wondering who or what is it that I come back to whenever I need to remember that I'm not alone in this world. In that spirit, that we're always connected to whomever or whatever is most precious to us, let us now share our joys and our sorrows.
We enter now a time for sharing of joys and sorrows and gratitudes that touch our individual lives. One way that we express through ritual the many ways we care for one another in this community. In a moment, you'll be invited to come forward to the mic and share aloud. If you have something you'd rather not share aloud, you can use the QR code on the order of service or the share side of the blue slip to put something in writing, and raise your hand if you need something to write with. And at any time during the week, you are welcome to use the link in the e-news to let us know what's on your heart. Remember that what you share is only for the ears of those gathered now. It will not be in the posted video of the service or shared in our e-news. So now, you are invited to come to the mic to speak if you choose to, or raise your hand and an usher will bring you a mic. I will light a candle for you, and after each sharing, I invite you all to respond with me, "We hold you in love." You can form a line to the side. To the folks attending online, know that we hold you in love as well. And now we place one last candle for all the joys and concerns not shared here, but held deep in our hearts. Now let's pause, breathe together, and hold all that's been shared in our hearts. Blessed be.
The Way It Is by William Stafford. There's a thread you follow. It goes among things that change, but it doesn't change. People wonder about what you are pursuing. You have to explain about the thread, but it is hard for others to see. While you hold it, you can't get lost. Tragedies happen. People get hurt or die. And you suffer and get old. Nothing you do can stop time's unfolding. You don't ever let go of the thread.
Over the course of our lives, we experience all kinds of change, right? Change is the only constant, we say, repeating the ancient saying from philosopher Heraclitus. Some changes delight us, some are long-desired changes that we ourselves have brought about. And sometimes, oftentimes, change is very much unwelcome, like the loss of a beloved person or animal, like a new diagnosis, like a change in a relationship, or like a job or other income loss. And there is also the unwelcome change that can happen in the society that we are a part of, such as the erosion and decline of a democracy, such as an authoritarian movement that has attacked and seeks to further attack basic freedoms, vulnerable groups, and dissenters. As I spoke about last week, I am afraid and anxious about this coming election and what could follow. I'm hearing from many, many others that they are feeling anxious and afraid as well. And so I've been thinking about the things that ground us, the things that we hold on to. The great teacher and writer Parker Palmer has written about the need for a rope to the barn to hold on to when life brings a blizzard our way. There was a time, Palmer writes, and this might be familiar to you, when at the first sign of a blizzard, farmers in the Midwest would run a rope from their back door all the way to the barn. Maybe some of you have experienced this yourselves in your lives. They could keep working knowing that if there was a sudden whiteout, they had something that would help them find their way back home. Simply living in the world right now means that swirling around us are all kinds of blizzards. Blizzards of anxiety, climate catastrophe, racism, illness, and I could go on. It is so easy to wander off and lose our way. Parker Palmer offers that the soul is our ultimate guide. Quote, that life-giving core of the human self with its hunger for truth and justice, love and forgiveness. Palmer says that in the blizzard of our current world, it often feels like the soul has lost its power to guide us. But I think at any moment we can reclaim the soul, the inner spirit, as a guide that helps us know what to hold on to, what will bring us back home. We may lose touch with it, we may be afraid of it and deny it. It might be obscured by swirling storms that feel overwhelming. And yet the soul remains as much a part of our selfhood as our heart and our lungs. offering us chance after chance to regain our bearings, as Palmer puts it. Chance after chance to regain our bearings. I, for one, am counting on this in the weeks and months ahead. When the storm arrives, what helps you find your way? What rope do you hold on to that reminds you of who you are and brings you home? The poet William Stafford speaks of a thread in our lives. Nothing you can do can stop time's unfolding, but you don't ever let go of the thread. These threads in our lives take all kinds of forms. For some of us, our thread might be our family. For some, it might be mindful presence as a principle for living that serves as a thread. For others, it's a sense of duty to community, connection with the divine or reverence for the great mystery is a guiding thread for some. I hear from many of you how this faith community is a great thread that you hold on to. And I cherish the fact that in a Unitarian Universalist community, we have such diverse threads of spiritual grounding, and we weave them together in a beautiful tapestry. What do you know about the thread that you hold on to? Is it something you've chosen and cultivated over the years? Is it something you've inherited or been taught? How does that thread help guide you? Was there once a thread and now it's gotten harder to locate? Many of us find connection with the natural world to be a great source of spiritual grounding, our key thread. Trees, I've been talking about trees, that's a great source of spiritual grounding for me. And I also draw guidance from water. Water supports life in all forms. Water changes with the conditions around it, but never loses its molecular structure. Water is patient and creates new ways for itself, moving around obstacles and carving through rock, reshaping the landscape with that great patience. Like water, when we are visited by loss and great challenge, we too create new possibilities for ourselves that grow from our soul, which you could call our spiritual molecular structure. In closing of this reflection, I'd like to lift up some particular ways our Unitarian Universalist faith holds us in the face of challenge and change. In our value of equity, we declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. Every single one of us, just as we are. There is no loss, betrayal, or hurt that can take that from us. That alone is one possible rope to the barn for me, a thread worth holding on to. And in our value of interdependence, we honor the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. This reminds us that we are fundamentally not alone. We are part of this web and held by it. And finally, as UUs, we get to do all of this in community. These blizzards, uncertainties, frightening changes, they are part of our shared human condition. None of us are spared, and together we are stronger. May we know ourselves to be connected, and may we know our connections to the threads that guide us in our lives. And may we always be able to get our bearings and find our way home. May it be so. And now, we will share together a ritual way of creating a concrete reminder of the things that we hold on to in tough times, as well as sharing about those with one another. Dave and I will be leading and helping you through the ritual process. In just a few moments, we will ask folks gathered in the sanctuary to form groups of 6 to 10 people. Some can do that by turning chairs around and helping those folks with mobility challenges. Folks in the front row or might want to, if you could turn around to form a group with the row behind you, that might work well. And some groups might be near a space where you could stand in a circle for this activity. Dave will make sure that each group has a basket with a ball of yarn and a few scissors. And then we'll have one person in the group start by holding the ball of yarn to start the activity. And they'll do this by completing this. Are you with me? They'll do this by completing this sentence. When times are tough, I hold on to blank. And then that person holding the thread will share another sentence or two about that thing if they choose to. And then they will keep hold of the thread, of their thread, while also tossing or passing the thread to another person in the circle. And that next person will complete this sentence, when times are tough, I hold on to blank, and so on. Does this kind of make sense? Yeah? You are absolutely welcome to pass when it's your turn, of course, or sit out the activity entirely. When all in the group have had a chance to speak, you can each use a scissors to help one another snip off the piece of yarn that you're holding. And you are invited to take that piece of string with you as a concrete reminder of what you hold on to and what holds you in difficult times. You might even wear it around your wrist like Dave does. That's what I'll be doing too. Let's begin. Gather, figure out ways to make a circle of 6 to 10 folks. Friends, just 1 second. Let me share a thought. We're running out of string. Can groups make sure they're about 10 people large, combine, and share a ball of string? Could the base? Oh, let's see. How are we doing, folks? Let's take like two more minutes. Is that okay? Yeah? Yes.
We'll have other issues, but we won't have to hear the act.
All right, let's bring ourselves back to our seats. Well done, thread holders and thread passers. Thank you for participating in that thread holding activity. Ultimately, friends, change is the essence of life. May we tend our threads, cultivate our relationship with our rope to the barn, and may we find comfort and strength in the rich tapestry of the woven threads of this faith community. Blessed be.
UU Church West's Split the Plate program is one of outreach and generosity. Each month, we give half of all undesignated offerings to a nonprofit organization. To help us live our Unitarian Universalist values, pursue the goal of social justice, and serve our community. Our Split the Plate partner for October is Reflow, a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting sustainable water use and fair water management. Reflow is at the cutting edge of urban green infrastructure, focusing on creating bigger, better projects through community collaboration and innovative solutions. They view green infrastructure as an opportunity to enhance urban spaces, not just manage water. A prime example of their work is Fondue Park in Milwaukee, where they partnered with Fondue Food Market and the city. This project is groundbreaking, using a building foundation to capture water and serving as the first local instance of private property collecting stormwater from public areas, showcasing Reflow's commitment to transformative, multifunctional urban spaces. Your contribution to Reflow will support their mission. Go to the UUCW website, Donate tab, and select Split the Plate from the menu provided, or you can text or mail your donation using information found here. We gratefully accept your offering.
And now I invite you to read the words for the dedication of our offering. They are printed in your order of service. To the work of this community, which is to ground ourselves in love and joy, and to act for inclusion and justice, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. Now please rise in body and or spirit, and we'll sing hymn number 1058, Be Ours a Religion. We close this morning with gratitude for the wisdom, goodwill, and support that we extend to one another. May we continue to bless each other with these gifts, whatever may come our way. And may we know ourselves to be held by a love that will not let us go. May it be so.